Dementia in the elderly, also known as cognitive decline, is a syndrome related to the gradual deterioration of the brain's cognitive functions, including memory, thinking, learning ability, language, reasoning, spatial and temporal orientation, decision making, and the ability to perform daily tasks. This is not a normal part of aging, but rather the result of damage or degeneration in brain cells. In older adults, dementia often develops slowly and worsens over time, significantly affecting the quality of life for both the patient and their family. Among the causes of dementia, Alzheimer's disease is the most common, accounting for about 60 to 80% of all dementia cases. Other causes include vascular dementia, Lewy body dementia, and damage to the frontal or temporal lobes of the brain. The disease may begin with seemingly simple signs such as forgetfulness, confusion, or mood changes. However, over time, patients may lose the ability to care for themselves, fail to recognize loved ones, and become entirely dependent. Early detection and timely intervention are crucial in slowing disease progression, preserving cognitive function, and improving quality of life. As the population ages rapidly, understanding dementia, its warning signs and preventive measures, plays a key role in protecting the mental health of the elderly and reducing the burden on society. Dementia often develops silently over many years. In its early stages, the symptoms may be mild and easily mistaken for normal aging. However, if not recognized and addressed promptly, the disease can progress to severely impair a person's ability to live independently and maintain a good quality of life. Below are some common early warning signs to be aware of. 1. Frequent forgetfulness, the most noticeable and common sign. Forgetfulness often appears first and is the clearest symptom. The patient may begin forgetting appointments, names of familiar people, or what they just said or did. They might repeat the same story or ask the same question several times in a short period without realizing it. Forgetting recent events while still recalling distant past memories is a classic sign of early dementia. Number 2. Difficulty in planning or solving problems. People with dementia may struggle to plan simple tasks or solve familiar problems. For example, they may no longer be able to cook using recipes, manage household expenses, or pay bills. Slowed thinking and trouble processing information make it harder to complete tasks and can lead to frustration. 3. Confusion when performing familiar daily activities. A noticeable sign is forgetting how to carry out routine tasks, such as using a television, rice cooker, phone, or stove, devices they've used for decades. Even making tea, cooking meals, or getting dressed may become confusing and difficult. 4. Disorientation in time and space. People with dementia often lose their sense of time. They may forget the date, day of the week, or whether it is morning or afternoon. They may also become disoriented and unable to remember where they are or how they got there. This can result in getting lost even in familiar neighborhoods or being unable to find their way home. 5. Trouble with speech or writing. In the early stages, patients may find it difficult to express themselves. They may pause often, struggle to find the right word, or use incorrect words. Repeating words or sentences, or being unable to complete a thought are also common. Writing or filling out forms becomes increasingly challenging. 6. Misplacing items and being unable to retrace steps. A frequent behavior is placing items such as keys, wallets, or phones in unusual places and then forgetting where they put them. This can lead to accusations that others have stolen their belongings, causing unnecessary conflict within the family. 7. Decreased judgment and poor decision-making. Dementia affects decision-making. The patient may become overly trusting and vulnerable to scams via phone or social media. They may make unusual financial decisions, spend money impulsively, or lose the ability to manage their finances. They might also neglect personal hygiene or make poor dietary choices. 8. Withdrawal from work or social activities. As the disease progresses, individuals often become passive and avoid social interaction. They may lose interest in activities they once enjoyed, such as reading, meeting friends, playing chess, or walking. A lack of confidence in memory and communication may cause embarrassment and lead them to gradually isolate themselves from others. 9. Mood swings and personality changes. Subtle but significant changes in mood and personality are common. The person may become irritable, anxious, depressed, or suspicious without clear cause. They may feel paranoid that others are trying to harm them or experience fear in unfamiliar places. Some may become stubborn, uncooperative, or even display erratic behavior. Dementia is a serious condition that impacts memory, thinking, communication, orientation, emotion, and behavior. It is one of the most significant health issues affecting the elderly today, not only because of the rising incidence due to an aging population, but also due to its profound and long-term impact on both patients and their families. To effectively address and prevent dementia, it is essential to understand the direct causes and risk factors. Early identification of these factors can enhance prevention efforts and slow the progression of the disease. Primary causes of dementia. Alzheimer's disease, the most common cause, 40% of cases. Alzheimer's disease is the most prevalent form of dementia in older adults. It is a progressive and irreversible condition caused by the abnormal accumulation of proteins like beta amyloid and tau in the brain. These proteins form plaques and tangles that damage neurons and disrupt communication between brain cells. People with Alzheimer's often begin with mild forgetfulness, then gradually lose language skills, spatial orientation, and eventually the ability to perform basic activities such as eating or personal hygiene. Example: Mrs. H, 72 years old, was once a literature teacher. In recent years, she began forgetting her students' names and familiar poems. Over time, she lost the ability to recognize her grandchildren and even forgot how to hold chopsticks. After a hospital evaluation, she was diagnosed with mid-stage Alzheimer's disease.
Vascular dementia.
Related to stroke or brain blood vessel damage. This form of dementia occurs when small blood vessels in the brain are damaged or blocked, often due to stroke, brain infarction, or uncontrolled high blood pressure. Blood cannot circulate properly to functional areas of the brain, leading to a gradual loss of function in those regions. Vascular dementia typically progresses in a stepwise manner. Each small stroke or vascular event causes a noticeable drop in cognitive ability. Example: Mr. T, 68 years old, has a history of high blood pressure and suffered a minor stroke 3 years ago. Recently, he has been forgetting his medication schedule, mixing up times, and sometimes failing to recognize his own house after a walk. His doctor diagnosed him with vascular dementia. Lewy body dementia and frontotemporal dementia. Lewy body dementia is caused by the buildup of a protein called alpha-synuclein in brain cells. Patients may experience visual hallucinations, sleep disturbances, tremors, and Parkinson-like symptoms. Frontotemporal dementia, FTD, typically appears earlier, between the ages of 50 and 65. It involves changes in personality, emotions, behavior, or language before memory loss becomes evident. 2. Risk factors that increase the likelihood of dementia. Not everyone develops dementia with age. However, several clear risk factors can increase a person's vulnerability. Understanding these factors helps individuals adjust their lifestyle and monitor their health more effectively. Age, a non-modifiable risk factor. The older you are, the higher your risk. After age 65, the rate of dementia rises significantly. However, not everyone who ages will develop memory loss. Age is a risk factor, but not a destiny. Genetics, family history. If someone in your family has had Alzheimer's or another type of dementia, especially if they were diagnosed before the age of 65, your risk may be higher. Certain genes, like APOE4, are linked to a greater chance of developing the disease. However, genes alone do not determine your fate. Cardiovascular disease, hypertension, and diabetes. Underlying vascular conditions such as high blood pressure, atherosclerosis, type 2 diabetes, or high cholesterol significantly raise dementia risk. These conditions damage the blood vessels that nourish the brain, and when blood flow is reduced, brain cells can be deprived of oxygen and die prematurely. Example: a diabetic patient with poorly controlled blood sugar over 10 years, frequently experiencing hypoglycemia, may suffer more brain damage than a healthy person and is more likely to develop early memory problems. Sedentary lifestyle, lack of physical activity. Not engaging in regular physical activity reduces blood flow to the brain and slows down neuron activity. It also increases metabolic disorders and accelerates brain aging. Moreover, sedentary individuals often maintain unhealthy diets, which can lead to obesity and other chronic diseases. Unhealthy diet, A diet high in saturated fats, refined sugar, and processed foods, and lacking essential vitamins and minerals, especially B12, D, and omega 3s, negatively impacts brain health. Poor dietary habits can promote inflammation, metabolic disorders, and neuronal damage. Depression, chronic stress, and social isolation. Prolonged depression, loneliness, and limited social interaction significantly increase the risk of cognitive decline. These conditions reduce activity in brain regions associated with memory and emotion. Studies show that socially active individuals are less likely to develop dementia than those who are isolated. Example: an elderly man lives alone after the loss of his wife. He rarely speaks with neighbors and suffers from long-term sadness and insomnia. After several years, he begins to forget important tasks, such as turning off the gas stove or recognizing his grandson. Head trauma, brain injury. Falls or heavy blows to the head can cause serious brain damage, especially in older adults. Even minor but repeated head trauma, such as frequent falls, can increase the long-term risk of developing Alzheimer's or other forms of dementia. Conclusion: dementia is a complex condition with diverse causes and risk factors. While some, like age and genetics, cannot be changed, many others can be managed through a healthy lifestyle, proper nutrition, regular physical activity, and good mental health care. Understanding the causes and risk factors of dementia not only helps us prevent it for ourselves, but also allows us to provide better care for loved ones, especially as they enter old age. Although dementia is a complex disorder with no definitive cure, the good news is that we can significantly reduce the risk or slow down cognitive decline with simple yet effective preventive measures in daily life. Preventing dementia is especially important for older adults who are already at a higher risk due to the natural aging process of the brain. Below are some scientific and easy-to-follow strategies to help older adults protect their memory and maintain long-term brain health. 1. Engage in regular physical exercise. Exercise is one of the best ways to stimulate blood flow to the brain, improving memory and cognitive function. Physical activity not only helps prevent cardiovascular diseases, a major risk factor for dementia, but also stimulates the production of beneficial neurotransmitters. Suggested activities: walk briskly for 30 minutes each day. Practice Tai Chi, Qigong, or yoga for seniors. Dance lightly to music, great for both movement and memory. Example: Miss M, 66 years old, has maintained a morning yoga routine and evening walks around the park after retirement. After 3 years, she remains sharp, agile, and shows no signs of memory loss. 2. Eat a healthy, brain-boosting diet. A balanced diet plays a vital role in protecting brain function. Some diets have been researched and proven effective in preventing dementia, such as the Mediterranean diet or the MIND diet, a combination of Mediterranean and DASH diets aimed at managing high blood pressure. Foods to include: fatty fish, salmon, sardines, mackerel, rich in omega 3s to nourish brain cells. Leafy greens, spinach, kale, contain folate and antioxidants. Nuts, walnuts, almonds, rich in vitamin E to protect nerve cells. Berries, blueberries, strawberries, have anti-inflammatory properties that improve memory. Whole grains limit refined sugars and processed foods. 3. Keep your brain active every day. Just like muscles, the brain needs regular exercise. Maintaining a daily brain workout helps preserve neural connections and enhances the brain's ability to adapt and recover. Brain exercises: read books, newspapers, or learn new skills. Play chess, Sudoku, crossword puzzles, or jigsaw puzzles. Learn to play a musical instrument or a new language. Example: Mr. H, 70 years old, plays chess every day and reads the newspaper in English. Thanks to this habit, he remains alert and quick in conversations. 4. Stay socially active. Older adults often experience social isolation, which increases the risk of depression and dementia. Staying connected with family, friends, and the community boosts mental health, stimulates thinking, and promotes positive emotions. Suggestions: join retirement clubs or community groups. Meet friends regularly. Call or chat online. Take grandchildren to the park, tell stories, fun, and helps with memory. This translation maintains the clarity and structure of your original content. 5. Effectively manage underlying health conditions. Conditions such as high blood pressure, diabetes, and dyslipidemia, if not well controlled, can damage brain blood vessels and increase the risk of memory loss. Important notes: follow treatment guidelines provided by your doctor. Get regular health checkups to detect and address issues early. Keep blood pressure, blood sugar, and cholesterol within safe levels. 6. Maintain a positive mental outlook. Manage stress and depression. Chronic stress and depression are factors that increase the risk of brain atrophy, emotional disorders, and memory loss. Mental health care is just as important as physical health. Strategies for stabilizing mental health. Practice meditation, deep breathing, or yoga. Share emotions with loved ones. Seek psychological counseling when needed. Maintain habits such as journaling, drawing, or playing music. Hammer 7. Get enough quality sleep. Poor sleep reduces the ability to focus, remember, and promotes the accumulation of beta amyloid protein in the brain, a factor related to Alzheimer's disease. Tips to improve sleep. Sleep 7 to 8 hours each night. Avoid drinking coffee or strong tea in the evening. Avoid using phones or watching TV too late. Create a quiet, comfortable sleeping environment. 8. Limit alcohol consumption and quit smoking. Both alcohol and nicotine are toxic to nerve cells, damaging brain blood vessels and increasing the risk of memory impairment. Suggestions: limit alcohol intake to a minimum. If you drink, follow safe consumption guidelines. Completely quit smoking and avoid exposure to secondhand smoke. 9. Protect the brain from injury. Traumatic brain injury is one of the leading risk factors, especially for older adults who are prone to falls. Preventive measures: install handrails in bathrooms and stairways, wear non-slip shoes, practice balance exercises such as yoga or qigong. Summary: dementia cannot be completely avoided, but with positive lifestyle changes, older adults can slow down the process of cognitive decline and improve their quality of life. The key is to start with small, consistent actions: walking daily, eating a meal rich in vegetables, calling a friend, playing a game of chess, or simply reading a good story. Each of these actions contributes to preserving memory over time. Early detection of memory loss signs in older adults. Early detection of memory loss signs in older adults is crucial for timely intervention and managing the progression of the disease. However, because some early symptoms are often overlooked or mistaken for normal aging, many families may not recognize the appropriate time to take their loved ones to a specialist. Below are specific situations where you should consider taking your loved one for an early examination. 1. Memory problems affecting daily life. If an older adult forgets appointments, names of family members, familiar addresses, or repeatedly asks the same questions, this is no longer normal forgetfulness due to age, but could be an early sign of dementia. Example: Mr. B, 72 years old, started forgetting even the addresses where he had lived for decades and repeatedly asked his son, "What day is it today?" Where are we? Every day. This is a sign that an examination is needed. 2. Difficulty with expression, thinking, and problem solving. Older adults may experience difficulty with simple calculations, tracking bills, planning meals, or struggle to find words while speaking. These can be signs of cognitive dysfunction. 3. Personality changes or unusual behavior. If an older person becomes irritable, suspicious without reason, withdraws, avoids family members, or loses interest in previously enjoyed activities, this is a clear warning sign. Example: Mrs. N used to be cheerful and sociable, but recently she has become unnecessarily irritable, avoids socializing, and no longer enjoys watching movies or knitting, activities she once loved. 4. Disorientation to time and place. Not remembering the day, failing to recognize familiar places, or getting lost when going to the market or visiting a friend. These are typical symptoms that require a medical checkup. 5. Impaired judgment and decision-making. An important sign is if the person is easily deceived over the phone, engages in poor shopping habits, or has trouble evaluating everyday situations. 6. Underlying health conditions or family history. People with risk factors, such as diabetes, high blood pressure, cardiovascular diseases, a history of stroke, family members with Alzheimer's or other forms of dementia, should regularly monitor cognitive function even if no clear symptoms are present. Where to seek medical attention. You can take your loved one to the following places for a checkup: neurology department of large hospitals, geriatrics department, especially at central hospitals, neurology centers or memory specialty clinics. Some hospitals also offer routine memory checkups for older adults, which include cognitive assessments, language function tests, orientation checks, psychological evaluations, etc. Notes when taking your loved one for an examination. Record any unusual symptoms, the time they appeared, and their frequency. Bring along any recent prescriptions or test results if available. Have a family member who interacts regularly with the person accompany you to assist the doctor during the consultation. Prepare specific questions for the doctor, e.g., is this a symptom of Alzheimer's? Is it treatable, or can it be slowed down? When a loved one begins showing signs of memory loss or has been diagnosed with dementia, the caregiver's role becomes extremely important. Caring for an elderly person in this condition not only requires love and patience, but also demands a correct understanding of how to handle daily situations to ensure safety, maintain function, and improve the quality of life for the patient. Below is a guide for easy-to-apply care at home. Create a safe and familiar living environment. People with memory loss are easily disoriented, can get lost, or may face accidents while performing daily tasks. Therefore, creating a safe and consistent living space is the first essential step. Suggestions: label rooms and areas in the house with large, easy-to-read signs. Ensure adequate lighting, especially in hallways and bathrooms. Keep the environment tidy, avoid slippery rugs, and secure loose wires to prevent falls. Install handrails in the bathroom, around the sink, and on stairs. Keep sharp objects, chemicals, and hazardous materials out of reach. Example: Mrs. L's family put labels on each room: Grandma's bedroom, bathroom, refrigerator, which helps her with orientation and reduces confusion. Maintain regular daily routines. Dementia patients are prone to disruptions in their biological rhythms, so establishing a daily routine helps them feel more secure and integrated into life. Suggestions: wake up, eat, bathe, and sleep at fixed times every day. Prepare a visual schedule or use a large calendar to make it easier to follow. Avoid sudden changes in caregivers or living space. 3. Communicate gently and patiently. People with memory loss may have difficulty with language, repeat questions often, or become confused. Proper communication helps reduce stress for both the patient and the caregiver. Effective communication tips: speak clearly, slowly, using short sentences and simple words. Address the person by name when starting a conversation. Maintain eye contact and use friendly facial expressions. Avoid scolding or arguing when they make mistakes or forget things. Use images or objects to help explain things when needed. 4. Support daily activities, but encourage independence. Patients should still participate in their personal activities to maintain a sense of autonomy and improve their motor memory. Examples: let them choose their clothes when there are limited choices. Guide them step by step while brushing teeth, washing face, or changing clothes. Help fold towels, wipe tables, or water plants. Safe and simple tasks. Cot 5. Appropriate nutrition and exercise. Memory loss patients may skip meals, eat irregularly, or fail to recognize hunger or thirst. It's crucial to monitor their food intake and ensure they get enough nutrition. Suggestions: serve smaller meals throughout the day if they eat less. Use easy-to-hold plates and bowls, and avoid glassware. Ensure adequate water intake to prevent dehydration. Encourage light physical activities, walking, stretching, arm and leg exercises under supervision. 6. Maintain a positive spirit. Avoid negative stimulation. Stable mental health and positive emotions can slow the progression of memory loss. Create opportunities for the patient to feel happy, loved, and useful. Suggestions: play soothing or familiar music. Help stimulate memory. Look at old photos together and tell stories from their youth. Spend time hugging, holding hands, and using positive gestures. Offer praise when they complete tasks, even small ones. 7. Monitor unusual signs and follow up regularly. Monitor: is the memory loss worsening? Has there been a change in behavior, irritability, or sleep disturbances? Are there signs of depression or prolonged anxiety? Take the patient for follow-up appointments as scheduled and monitor their response to medication if they are under treatment. In addition to a neurologist, it may be helpful to consult a psychologist, nutritionist, or rehabilitation specialist if needed. 8. Caregivers need care too. Extended stress can lead to caregiver burnout, affecting mental health. Seek support from family and loved ones, community support groups, or Facebook's Zalo groups sharing experiences. Consult with a counselor if feeling overwhelmed or depressed. Tip: dedicate at least 15 to 30 minutes a day to do something you enjoy, listening to music, reading a book, walking, or having a quiet cup of tea. Conclusion: caring for an elderly person with memory loss is a journey that requires love, patience, and proper knowledge. With a safe environment, healthy routines, and sincere companionship, the patient can maintain a good quality of life, slow the disease's progression, and preserve precious memories longer.